Happy Friday. Welcome to the Technology Committee. I prefer that we call roll first.
Fortunately, two of them are in the toilet.
Can we begin with roll call?
Yes, sir. Mayor McCallan,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell,
She's in the restroom.
Supervisor Solis,
She's
In the restroom.
out of the room.
Councilmember Buscaino.
Here. Do we have a restroom caucus going on right now?
So it appears.
Comfort break.
All right. I believe Supervisor Solis is in the room. I may have heard her. I can't see you all, just to let you know. Oh. Still can't see you all. All right, if I can direct your attention to the agenda, let us take item number 1.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
We can only see ourselves, but we can hear everybody.
I'm Baskin Yardemian, and with this item, staff seeks your approval to execute contracts with commercial electric lawn and garden equipment manufacturers and/or suppliers as part of an incentive and exchange program in the environmental justice areas. Also reimburse the general fund for administrative costs. In October of last year, the board recognized $2,477,250 from EPA's targeted Airshed grant program. Also, at the same time, the board issued a program announcement to solicit proposals from manufacturers and or suppliers of commercial-grade electric lawn and garden equipment. Actually, the primary goal of this program is to provide financial incentives to local governments, school districts, nonprofit organizations, and commercial and professional gardeners and landscapers located in environmental justice communities to turn in their old gasoline lawn and garden equipment and purchase all zero-emission, all-electric battery-operated lawn and garden equipment at a discounted price. The program announcement closed on December 15th of last year, and total of 8 proposals were received by the solicitation deadline. And they are American Green Zone Alliance, AGZA, which is a distributor of Greenworks products, Oregon, DeWalt, Golden Eagle Distributing Corporation, which is a distributor of Eco products, Husqvarna Group, Makita USA, Mean Green Products, and Pacific Steel. All the proposals were reviewed by an evaluation panel. There were 3 members on the panel, 2 from SCAQMD and the 3rd member from Air Resources Board. All the proposals were reviewed according to detailed product specifications, product availability, the warranty, supply commitment, and the number and location of the distribution centers. The program announcement required a minimum of 5 distribution centers, with at least 1 center located in each of the 4 counties served by SCAQMD. So based on the evaluation results, the recommendation was to award 7 out of 8 proposals. 1 company was not selected because it did not have enough required minimum number of distribution centers in 4 counties. During this program, staff estimates that up to 5,600 pieces of old gasoline lawnmowers lawn and garden equipment, will be replaced by new electric models. The program is expected to start this summer and continue until funds are exhausted. And participants, in this case, local governments, school districts, nonprofit organizations, and professional gardeners will have the opportunity to purchase from an available makes and models of lawn and garden equipment, including trimmers, chainsaws, pruners, blowers, both backpack and handheld, and different types of lawnmowers. Each manufacturer will have their own distribution centers in 4 counties. The old equipment will be tested at these locations, drained of all fluids in a responsible manner and eventually permanently destroyed by licensed dismantler. The district will share the data with the California Air Resources Board, who has a contract with Cal State University Fullerton to survey the participants and eventually quantify the actual emissions reduced from this program. This is a map showing all the distribution centers in 4 counties. Total we have 86 distribution centers, and many of these centers carry up to 4 or 5 brands of the lawn and garden equipment that are in this program. As an example how these products will be sold, taking a steel leaf blower with a backpack battery and a charger, its retail price is $1,390. The discounted price offered to AQMD is like $1,080. The participant will pay 50% of the discounted price, which is 50%. And AQMD's incentives, the cost share, will be the other 50%. So with that, the participant will have over 60% discount of its retail price. Another example, Mean Green Products. It's a company who manufactures zero-turn large lawnmowers, all electric. This is one of their largest unit with a 60 inches cutting width, and it's a ride-on mower, which is used in golf courses or cemeteries, those places. This product with the battery and the charger, its retail price is $20,864. And the discounted price offered to AQMD is $19,500. The participant will pay 50% of the discounted price, which is $9,750. And AQMD's incentives, the cost share, it would be the other 50%. So with that, the participant will have over 53% discount of its retail price. As far as recommended actions, this staff would like to have contracts with the following companies. As far as American Green Zone Alliance, early this week we were notified by the company that they no longer would like to participate in this program, citing business reasons for their withdrawal from the program. So we will have 6 contracts instead of 7, including Oregon, Golden Eagle Distributing Corporation, Husqvarna Group, Makita USA, Mean Green Products, as well as Pacific Steel. So total of 6 contracts in an amount not to exceed total of $2,955,327, comprised of $2,327,250 from EPA's Fund 17 and $628,077 from Rule 2202 EQIP Special Revenue Fund. Also, authorize the executive officer to amend the contract so we can move funds among the awardees. Also, in addition to this, redistribute the funds allocated for American Green Zone Alliance proportionally among the other 6 contractors. And finally, reimburse general fund up to $150,000 for administrative costs. With that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer questions. Sure.
Thank you, Askan. Any questions, colleagues?
Sure.
Hi, Mr. Chair. I have one just question and comment.
Supervisor Solis?
I'm very excited about the program since we last had a kind of an overview of this. And was just wondering, this is available for public governmental entities?
Yes, local
So
governments, special
we operate several
special
parks.
districts, counties.
And then just in terms of your outreach again, I know it's very critical that we target communities that are EJ, where many of these folks obviously are employed and self-employed. And I'm just wondering what kind of outreach plan you may have with those types of groups, not just traditional chambers, because those aren't the ones that they will attract, but what kinds of methods and perhaps innovation ideas we might have to reach them. And it goes not just for Hispanic, but also Asian and any other people that have employed.
Well, it's got to be both ways, I think. I was talking with the manufacturers, a couple of them are here. They're gonna promote their own products. That's something that, so they can sell their product through this program. However, from our staff, we will work with our legislative and public affairs to promote this program through the cities, local governments, school districts. However, that's the, we will go with that right now. And we will have eventually brochures with this program. Both in Spanish, most probably Korean, and Vietnamese too.
I would strongly encourage the use of public access television. I know we have our own channel. Many councils have that. You may want to come up with one that you can just share with these communities and just put it out there in whatever languages are necessary.
Okay.
And that's a free way of accessing advertising, and also paid advertisement with radio, because they're not on TV, they're listening to radio, unfortunately, just as an idea.
Great idea, yeah.
If I could add one thing to the presentation, as you heard, Baskin said, one of the contractors, they informed us that they are not moving forward with it, and time doesn't allow us to change that technical board letter. But before the board meeting, what we will do is the amount of funding that we have allocated for that contractor will be proportional, equal to the amounts that the others have received. So this amount will be distributed proportionally among the others. And so at the board meeting, we will see 6 contractors with different funding amounts that budget of $90,000 will be distributed among the others. And then after that, based on demand, the executive officer has the authority to redistribute if one contractor has more money than the other.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Floor is yours.
this is for commercial gardeners also.
Yes.
I know local governments and school districts and so on would require a licensed gardener. But are we requiring the commercial gardeners to apply for this program to have licensed at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we, in our previous program, we do require them to be licensed gardeners, commercial gardeners.
When we did the leaf blower program with steel, yeah.
So there's a requirement to have a business license or whatever it is.
Yes.
Do we have an idea of the ROI, return on investment? How much NOx are we going to be reducing? What is the return on investment?
That's what the University of Fullerton will help us part is contracting with them with the number of equipment that we place, depending on the type of equipment, because we have a whole variety of equipment that we are offering. So once the program is completed, we will do a thorough evaluation of the emission reduction on this program.
Well, that's good, but it seems to me that's sort of bass backwards. We want to know up front before we invest money how much we're going to get in return, not after the fact.
Do you have examples by equipment, you know the numbers?
We can come up with examples for you.
So we should be able to come up with a range.
Yes, yeah, we can do that. We can provide that. I cannot provide that answer to you right now, but we can provide that to you in the next couple of days.
Because that, as a businessman, that makes perfect sense. You want to know before you invest the money,
Sure.
what your return's going to be.
Well, for the electric lawnmower that we have used for our regular program for households, we have compared that with like each electric lawnmower is equals to about 1,000 light-duty vehicles to be replaced from the road. But we will have a more precise answer.
Thank you.
And also, recall there, this
Thank
is
you.
a targeted airshed grant, so this is money that we received from the EPA to implement a program. So we applied for it and they funded it, so we're using federal money, which is always nice.
Understand. Still taxpayers' dollars.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, motion to approve item 1 before us.
So moved.
Second?
I'm sorry, should we take public comment? Anyone there to speak on this item?
Yes, there is.
Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is Al Rodriguez. I'm with Makita Power Equipment. I want to say thank you for the leadership that you guys are taking into this. And we're very excited to participate and to address the issue that you just had about the reaching out to the community. We have a big reach. All the paperwork is bilingual. We invested heavily because we recognize that most of this industry is Hispanic-driven, Korean, and Vietnamese. So all the paperwork is being done in those languages in our product. I can't speak on behalf of the other companies, just what I do. So I want to say thank you very much to you guys on this. This is very exciting, and leadership has been crucial for us in this. So we're really looking forward for the future in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Any others on the public who wish to speak on this item?
Seeing none,
Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please, on item number 1.
Mayor McCallum,
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell,
Yes.
Supervisor Solis. Aye. Councilmember Busquets.
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Thank you. Let's move now, colleagues, to item number 2. That's now before us. Is Adwell Oshinuga?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Adewale Oshinuga. The item before you is to recognize revenue to replace school and shuttle buses and execute contract for battery electric shuttle bus replacement project, as well as reimburse the general fund for administrative costs. So school buses as well as the shuttle buses are significant sources of emissions, both the NOx and the PM here in the basin. The good news, however, is that we now have available both the the near zero CNG buses as well as the battery electric buses in the market. Coupled with that, there's ample evidence that there's a good justification for one to present economic justification for replacing the diesel buses with both either the CNG buses or the electric buses. As a matter of fact, most of the school districts out there have approached us and request from us when funding is going to be available so that they can continue to replace their diesel buses with either the CNG or the electric buses. For this reason, in 2017, staff applied under the EPA targeted Airshed program and was awarded about $6.4 million to be equally shared between two projects. One of those projects is for the replacement of battery electric shuttle bus replacement project, and the other is for the near zero CNG school bus replacement project. The school bus replacement project is going to be considered by the board in May under the lower emission school bus replacement program. So from here on, I'm going to be focusing my presentation on the battery electric shuttle bus replacement project. Staff has been working with Phoenix Motor Cars to come up with a strategy in which we can speed up both the production as well as the deployment of battery electric buses. The reason why staff selected Phoenix Motor Car is for one particular reason, of course, is to ensure that the program is successful and implemented fairly quickly. There are three key points that I would like to make here. One is that Phoenix Motor Car is a manufacturer of electric vehicles. For the past 2 years, they have already shown their ability to deploy, in this case, over 36 battery electric, specifically the shuttle buses, to airport services. And finally, they have committed a significant amount of funds to co-fund these electric bus replacement projects. We have actually, there's a very limited number of companies that can provide the kind of, not only the effort, but also the funds that Phoenix Motor Cars is willing to provide towards this program. So, the proposal before you this afternoon accomplishes 3 goals. One is to recognize US EPA 2017 targeted airshed funds. I want to emphasize that my colleague Vaskin that made the presentation earlier talked about 2016 targeted airshed. So this one is for 2017 targeted airshed funds. Second, to implement the school bus to implement the battery electric shuttle bus replacement project by performing or conducting the following items. 1, to inspect up to 29 diesel and gasoline shuttle buses for drivability and operability. To procure also up to 29 of those new battery electric shuttle buses. And then once those has been purchased and they've demonstrated that it can operate in that service, then we'll go ahead and scrap the existing 29 shuttle buses. And then each of those buses will be reimbursed for about $99,000 with a total of $270,000 for infrastructure. Each of the fleet would be given $10,000 per infrastructure. It just happens here that 2 of those fleets already have infrastructure. And finally, the buses will be used to provide services to local airports. So this is the projected proposed project cost. As you can see, US EPA is providing almost $3.2 million towards this project. Phoenix Motor Car, combined with the activity or the effort to secure those funds from California Air Resources Board, HB program, will be providing a little bit more than about $3.4 million for a total project cost of about $6.5 million. And finally, these are staff recommended actions. 1, to recognize funds or revenue from US EPA targeted airshed funds into the clean fuels, up to approximately $3.2 million for the near zero emission battery electric school bus replacement program, and about $3.2 million for a near zero emission school bus replacement project. I might have said that twice, so let me make sure I make that clear. 1 is to recognize approximately $3.2 million for a near zero emission school bus replacement project, and up to approximately $3.2 million for a zero emission battery electric shuttle bus replacement program. Second, to authorize the executive officer to execute a contract with Phoenix Motor Cars for battery electric shuttle bus replacement projects at a cost not to exceed about $3.1 million. And finally, to reimburse the general funds up to $62,000 for administrative costs to implement the shuttle bus replacement project. This ends my presentation.
Chair? Question?
Yes, sir. Larry? Mr. McCallum?
What airports are we talking about?
We're talking about the LAX, we're talking about Ontario, Orange County, mostly all of the local airports.
Okay, including Riverside Avenue.
That's right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Hi, Tilda Solis, Supervisor Solis, for question.
Supervisor, yes.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, staff, and wanted to ask you, is Phoenix, where are they located?
Actually, they're local now. They have a production facility here they have one in Ontario, And then the other one, I believe, is in Chino. And by the way, they're here with us.
Good. I just want to say how important it is for us to give big contracts such as these to folks that actually are from our area. I mean, to keep those dollars here. That's kind of saying that we have a county from that. And also, how do you get elected people that will participate in the school bus?
This particular one that I presented is for the shuttle buses.
We'll bring the shuttle buses only. We just recognize both the awards, but next month in tech, you'll hear the school bus award proposal, and we can go into detail.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chairman, this is
Yes.
Judy Mitchell.
Yes.
I don't have a conflict of interest, but I think I should disclose that I'm a member of the California Resources Board. Some of these funds go to the HVIP program, which is a California Resources Board. So that's that.
Thank you for that. Okay, any other questions, comments, colleagues? Okay, anyone in the public that wishes to speak on item 2 before us, please come forward. Okay, seeing none.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Wait, one more.
One.
Someone coming.
Yes, please come forward.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Harvey Editor.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I'm speaking for myself and for the Public Solar Power Coalition. And for the electric vehicles, this is fine, and as long as they're being supplied with solar electric, including solar renewables. When the sun makes the water flow, the wind blow, and the plants grow. It's the engine of our ecosystem. It's the way the world works. I've said that from time to time over the years to the board, and we have some new members. Anyway, in terms of the Clean Fuels Fund and natural gas, it's against state policy in the Health and Safety Code 53,002B to import non-renewable natural gas into the state of California, and over 90% of it is imported. That's illegal, and it's wrong, and we can do better with solar electric. It doesn't take into account from the natural gas the formaldehyde, which is a carcinogen toxin, as is benzene,
Harvey, you need to speak to the item.
and PM. And these costs
Speak
have
to
to
the
be
item
looked
before us,
at.
Harvey, item number 2.
Pardon?
Speak to the item that's
I
on the
am.
agenda. You can
were
save
talking
those
about
comments for
natural
general
gas
public
vehicles
comment.
there. Half of this money is going to natural gas vehicles. And I resent you pointing me out and saying that I'm not talking to the item. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve item 2 before us?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor McCallum?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell?
Yes.
Supervisor Solis?
Yes.
Councilmember Buscaino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Thank you, ma'am. So our third and final item,
Good afternoon.
Patricia Kwan.
Yes, good afternoon. The following
Good afternoon,
item,
ma'am.
yes. The following item includes, among other things, a recommendation to execute 4 agreements for the district to act as SEP implementer for installation and maintenance of air filtration systems. Since the district has not yet received a campaign contribution form from Western Power Sports, Inc., we are asking that the portion of the item recommending approval of the agreement between the district and Western Power Sports be recommended to the governing board contingent upon receipt of their campaign contribution form before the April 6th governing board meeting. The committee may review and recommend the remainder of the item and include a contingent recommendation of the Western Power item. So for item number 3, this is to recognize and transfer funds and execute and amend agreements for installation and maintenance of air filtration systems and to reimburse the general fund for administrative costs. So CARB is executing 4 supplemental environmental projects to install air filtration systems at schools with Western Power Sports, CJJ Farming, JEGS Foundation, and Tesoro Companies. And AQMD would act as a SEP implementer based on previous experience. Staff recommends that IQ Air serve as the air filtration contractor, and this is based on 2 prior competitive RFP processes, as well as a national testing opportunity of air filtration technologies. We're also working with CARB and have continued to work with CARB to conduct a recent technology review, and we have not identified another technology meeting the performance standards of the AQMD pilot study. So air filtration technologies will include high-performance panel filters and standalone units with a 90% average removal efficiency for ultrafine PM and black carbon, and also a noise level below 45 decibels for standalone units to not interfere with classroom learning. So AQMD would serve as a SEP implementer, and the staff proposal is to execute MOAs with these 4 entities to identify schools in environmental justice or disadvantaged communities near or around the Los Angeles ports based on the nature of the violations for these SEPs, to work with the contractor for installation and operation and maintenance. So the proposed schedule is to go through board approval in April, anticipated board approval, contract awards by June, to select schools and perform site assessments this year, and to complete installations this year and into 2019, and to wrap up the project no later than December of 2019. So the recommended actions will be to recognize revenue into the Air Filtration Fund 75, to transfer $462,625 as a temporary loan from the Clean Fuels Fund into Fund 75, to authorize the executive officer to execute agreements with the above entities and to execute amend agreements with local school districts as needed, to execute 1 or more contracts with IQ Air for installation and maintenance of air filtration systems in an amount not to exceed $524,282 from the Air Filtration Fund, to reimburse the general fund for administrative costs to implement these projects, and then to amend as needed any contracts with IQ Air, which are funded by an air filtration SEP, in order to purchase additional funds using unspent admin funds. So I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Mr. Chair, I'm impressed with the number of schools that are identified, but I would just draw our staff's attention to parts of Los Angeles, the southeast area, where alongside the 710 freeway, we have a lot of freight cargo, a lot of exposure there. And I know you have East Los Angeles, but there are other surrounding cities in the southeast area, Cudahy, Huntington Park, those communities that have large schools that might also be impacted. I don't know how these schools in East LA were drawn, but I'm just saying that we have to take a broader view in terms of some of the health impacts that are related to particulate matter in the southeast area of the county.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, if I can, before I turn over to Mr. McCallum. So to piggyback on Supervisor Solis's question or concern, do we have an inventory list of schools of these impacted environmental justice locations, these EJ communities, of those schools that do have filters and those that don't?
Yes. So we do have a listing of all the schools that we've installed the high efficiency filters. But we'll also...
I'd like to see that. Maybe if you can just share that with the committee on what we have of these schools in the EJ areas.
We will, and then we'll also
specifically on a map.
On a map, okay. We can do that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important to recognize that we're limited with regards to the geographic area, since this money is coming from...
So it happened
ARB.
In the geographical nexus of the SEPs involved.
So typically, they will want you to implement the mitigation project close to the violation.
Right.
And I understand that, but some of the East LA schools are not as close as Southeast Los Angeles, like the middle school in Huntington Park and Paramount. south-facing, those areas that are closer to the southeast?
Yeah, so the school listing that you have, Supervisor, those aren't all from SEPs. So some of them were just part of the pilot, the original rollout for right at fund. But we'll work with ARB and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Mayor McCallum?
And don't forget all of the EJ communities in San Bernardino County that are impacted by the ports.
Absolutely. So in fact, we do have a map, and it's interesting because there's a cluster right near the ports, and then there's a cluster out kind of in the Coachella Valley area. So we're trying to make that nexus, but we'll certainly also look into San Bernardino, Rail Yard, Coachella, and all those areas.
Because we receive all of the stuff from the port and the LA Basin out in San Bernardino.
Will do.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not
Go ahead,
quite
Judy.
sure how this is structured, but just in case, I don't have a financial interest in this, but I am a member of the California Resources Board. It appears some of this money is coming through the California Resources Board, so I need to disclose that. So I'm just going to put that on the record.
Yeah, thank you for that disclosure.
Everything was coming directly from the
Any other?
but it was as a
We
result of
weren't
a
sure.
violation.
It's a discussion, I wasn't sure where it was coming
Public comment.
from. Okay.
If no other comments or questions from committee members, I'll turn over to the public to speak on item 3 before us.
Seeing none.
Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve item 3?
So moved.
Second.
This would be contingent on the campaign statement from Western Power. Yeah, okay.
Roll call, please.
Mayor McCallum?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell?
Yes.
Supervisor Solis? Yes. Councilmember Buscaino?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business before the committee? Okay, hearing none. General public comment. Anyone in the public like to speak on a non-agenda item, please come forward.
Yes, we have someone.
Let me safe travels.
Florence Garubian, the chair of the Delaware Action Committee. Thank you so very much.
Good afternoon.
For giving me a minute to speak. I hold the belief, and I think we saw a little of that in the last meeting, that new technologies are going to help solve our environmental problems. And I also worked with the plan that was proposed, testified, wrote letters, etc. And one of the letters that I wrote talks about using new technologies to look at possibly solving our ambient air problems by using something beyond alternative vehicles, etc. I also talked about scientifically evaluating the benefit of using vegetation to reduce pollution. And I talked about, and I have a letter that I wrote on this subject that I'd like to hand out to everyone. I also talked about developing an interactive GIS system where communities would have an opportunity to begin to create an image of what they wish their community looked like as compared to what it looks like now. So I do want to distribute this letter. I also want to say that I did a series of bus tours when I worked at DTSC, going to EJ communities really across the state. And when I saw the schools I saw, one was in Oakland, right on the busy roadway from the ports. The city of Maywood has a school right by a busy roadway where the trucks come off the freeway and drive through Maywood. And when you realize they put the playground by the road, so these kids are exposed to all this stuff when they're out on the playground. And I don't know what the solution is to that, but I just want to say that I am all on board with using school filtering systems because they work and they make a difference. It's really important. And I want to also have the possibility of moving into giving homeowners the opportunity to have filters in their homes and the possibility of looking at products that might be available so that people that live in these EJ communities might have some possibility of making the air in their home better as well. So thank you very much for your time. And I have...
Thank you.
Thank you. I did distribute this letter through the board consultants in March, but I have 5 copies of it. And I can email it as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I mentioned an ambient air treatment system that they're using in Europe in the letter. Not to suggest that that's the only thing going on, but just to say that door might open. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other member of the public like to speak on a non-agenda item, please come forward.
One more.
One more, fantastic.
Hi there, Harvey.
2 minutes.
For myself and for the Public Solar Power Coalition, I stand corrected on the issue of natural gas, but the power plants are burning natural gas and nuclear, and this just got to be solar. We got to phase that stuff out. And Technology Committee, the backed and barked committees need submitted stuff on solar, and it's not been responded to.
We have 3 squares still.
Yeah. So this is not right. It's not legal, and we're going to bring this as well as other things up that solar has not been evaluated in the plan or by the district, and there's all kinds of stuff that's happening now in this litigation that isn't copacetic. Anyway, thanks. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Harvey. Okay, any others? Okay, seeing none, thanks for joining us. Have a blessed weekend, and we are now adjourned. Thank you.